land of philosophy, a place of stories, thoughts, and dreams. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. The journey of cancer is horrible no matter which way you throw it. It doesn't need to be made any more difficult by ignorance. By ignorance being spread by the educated. What I'm most irritated about today, and yes, it is an irritation, I am passionate about this absolute disregard for knowledge. Whenever I started my cancer journey, I was told by my healthcare professionals not to research my cancer. I was told this over and over again. And whenever there is this power differential between you and your doctor, you listen. I'm sure there's a lot of you out there who's going to say, well, if my doctor told me not to research, I would ignore him. But that falls into the same category of a person who says, well, if I get cancer, I just let it run its course. I wouldn't do this and I wouldn't do that. I tell you what. When you reach that bridge, you can say that. But I doubt you will. You're going to be filled with so much terror. And you're going to feel so alone because you are. You'll be grasping at straws. So afraid you feel angry. If you have this fantasy that you're going to be some tough guy and live like life has no value, then if it happens to you, you're going to realize how much this tough guy attitude is no more than a facade. When you're sitting in that chair and you hear the doctor say you have cancer, you're going to melt in your seat. Your ears are going to begin to ring. And this idea of who you are disappears. So what am I talking about here today? I'm talking about the dissemination of ignorance from the educated, specifically our doctors. Now, I do have a certain place in my heart for people who like to sell false hope to people with cancer and illness. Often these people prey by selling products or encourage them to give up science and embrace pseudoscience in the attempt to supposedly cure them of their cancer. Today, I'm focusing on the relationship between doctor and patient. There is a distinct empathy gap that exists there. One that's magnified by the power differential and the fear. Whenever you begin your cancer journey, you may feel that you have the strongest network. You may fantasize that everything's going to be all right because people are going to be there to take care of you. That's another fantasy. Sure, they may be there for you whenever things are fast and immediate. But eventually, life goes on and people disappear. You'll be angry at first, but if you look inward and you're honest with yourself, you can empathize with these people and know that they have lives too. And it's not that they don't care about you. It's just that they care about themselves. You can't expect them to walk every step of the journey. What I'm specifically addressing here today is a major problem between doctors and patients. And my journey, I was told not to research. And that put me at such a great disadvantage that I wound up being under the care of an oncologist who knew nothing about my cancer. After my journey and the insanity with my doctor, I have spoken to others who have walked the very same path I have. I have read stories of others' tales who have walked the very same path I have, and it's all rooted in the promotion of ignorance. These doctors who are unwilling to simply hop on the computer and look up whether or not there has been any additional research. For a long time, I wondered where all my doctor's research came from. And as the chemo brain began to slowly pull away and my ability to research and understand came back, I looked online. I had written down what my doctor had said verbatim after I had spoken with him after my surgery. So whenever I went online to find exactly where it is that he had pulled his font of wisdom from, I found it. And nearly word for word, there it was. It was an excerpt from a book written in 1991 that described my cancer specifically. And so, whenever I asked my doctor, is there any research? Are there any specialists? Were there any clinical trials? When he said no, 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 he was basing all of his research from 1991. How in the world can you think that there hasn't been research since 1991? This memory is such a driving force within me. It showed me that if you are not going to be your personal advocate, no one will. My situation isn't isolated. I mentioned that earlier. Others have endured the same treatment, the same kind of treatment, given incorrect information and pushed away from critical research and personal advocacy. This journey drives you to the point to where your hope will leave you. The only journey that I know is through my cancer, and it is important for you to understand that there is more than one cancer. I want you to understand that there is no one cure for cancer. Cancer is so complex. And so, because of that, because it is so complex, you should never see a general oncologist. Find someone whose cancer relates at least to the organ it's in. I'm not going to go into extreme detail about my journey with working with NET specialists, which the NET specialist is the oncologist, the doctor that I need in terms of the treatment of my cancer. I will, however, talk more on the matter of personal advocacy. I began this journey because I have walked through absolute hell. I've been burnt by the fire. And I'm tired of watching others get doused in the flames. It makes me sick every time I hear about another person suffering because of this, because of the same things that have happened to me. It's got to stop. How do we stop it? We stop it through the spread of actual information, of personal advocacy, hope, critical thought, and force of will. Patients are people, and these people need to be shown that the doctors are their employees. They work for you. And if they're not doing their job, fire them. I was so unsatisfied with my oncologist, I would rather have no doctor than that doctor. A doctor willing to send me for tests that he knew would yield no results, while at the same time refusing to grant me the ability to take tests for a scan made specifically for my cancer.